What if I told you that South Africa's highest court has just made a ruling that could change everything about Edgar Lungu's burial? That forensic experts have now stepped in, raising shocking questions about whether the official story holds up. Tonight, we go beyond the headlines, exposing the government's reaction, the Lungu family's silence, and the chilling mystery experts say is still unsolved. Stay with us, because this is the moment Zambia, Africa, and the world must confront the truth about Edgar Lungu's body. South Africa's court has finally ruled on the controversial burial of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu, but shocking details from forensic experts are raising new questions. Is the truth about Lungu's body being hidden from the public? Why is the Zambian government welcoming the ruling, while the Lungu family remains silent? In this exclusive analysis, we break down what the Pretoria Court's ruling really means for Zambia, how forensic experts are exposing unanswered questions, the government's reaction and why HH is under pressure, the mystery behind Lungu's burial and legacy. Don't forget to subscribe to InspirAfrica Official for more breaking news, investigative analysis, and untold African stories. A nation in limbo, the Pretoria Court ruling that shocked Zambia. Imagine a nation torn apart by grief, not just for the loss of a former leader, but for the battle over his final resting place. A courtroom in Pretoria, South Africa, becomes the stage for a drama that transcends borders, pitting a grieving family against a determined government, with the body of a president caught in the crossfire. What does it mean when even death cannot end a political feud? This is the story of Edgar Lungu's burial, a saga that has gripped Zambia and the world. On August 8, 2025, the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria delivered a landmark ruling, ordering the repatriation of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu's body to Zambia for a state funeral, siding with the Zambian government over his family's wishes for a private burial in South Africa. Lungu, who led Zambia from 2015 to 2021, died on June 5, 2025, at the age of 68 in a South African hospital, sparking a bitter dispute that has yet to be resolved. The court's decision, handed down by Justices Ledwaba, Modo, and Potterill, declared that Zambia was entitled to honor its former president with a state funeral, citing national interest over personal wishes. This ruling halted the family's plans to bury Lungu in Johannesburg, where they sought to fulfill his alleged directive that his political rival, President Hakainde Hichilema, should not be involved in his funeral. The Pretoria Court's decision was rooted in legal precedent, referencing the burial of Zambia's first president, Kenneth Kaunda, where national interest superseded family preferences. The court ordered Lungu's family to immediately surrender his body to Zambian authorities, a directive that left his sister, Bertha Lungu, in tears and sparked an immediate appeal. The family argued that the ruling violated their constitutional rights to dignity and cultural expression, citing 17 grounds for appeal, including the court's reliance on a tentative funeral program and failure to recognize the absence of consensus. This ruling exposed deep divisions in Zambia, reigniting tensions between Lungu's Patriotic Front, PF, supporters and Hichilema's United Party for National Development, UPND. It also raised questions about state power versus individual rights, a theme that resonates across Africa, where similar disputes over the burials of leaders like Robert Mugabe and José Eduardo dos Santos have unfolded. The court's decision, while legally sound, did little to quell the emotional and political storm, leaving Lungu's body in limbo at Two Mountains Mortuary in South Africa as the family's appeal delayed repatriation. Zambia's official reaction: unity or vendetta? Hook, a president calls for peace, but his words ring hollow to a grieving family and a divided nation. As Zambia's government celebrates a legal victory, whispers of political vengeance grow louder. Is this a quest for national honor or a final jab in a long-standing rivalry? The Zambian government, led by President Hakainde Hichilema, welcomed the Pretoria Court's ruling with measured statements. Attorney General Mulalo Kabesha, present at the hearing, expressed gratitude for the decision, emphasizing that Lungu belongs to the nation and deserved a state funeral at Embassy Park Presidential Burial Site in Lusaka, where all Zambian presidents since independence have been laid to rest. Foreign Minister Malambo Haimbi reiterated that the government mourned with Lungu's family but maintained that national protocol trumped personal wishes. Publicly, Hichilema called for peace, dignity, and togetherness, urging Zambians to unite in mourning their former leader. However, his silence for hours after Lungu's death, coupled with the government's swift legal action to block the family's burial plans, fueled accusations of insensitivity. Information Minister Cornelius Muitwa defended the delay in Hichilema's response, citing precedent that presidents do not announce predecessors' deaths, but Lungu supporters saw it as a sign of lingering animosity. The government's insistence on a state funeral was framed as a matter of national pride, aligning with Zambia's tradition of honoring former leaders with military honors and a designated burial site. Yet, critics, including Zambian historian Sishiwa, argued that the government's actions were driven by political considerations rather than public interest. Sishiwa pointed to Hichilema's failure to rein in supporters who celebrated the ruling with mocking social media posts, such as, "It's coming home," as evidence of insensitivity. The government's legal filings, which highlighted a prepared grave at Embassy Park, underscored their determination to control the narrative, but at what cost to national unity? The Lungu family's silent struggle, a fight for dignity. In the shadow of a courtroom battle, a family grieves in silence, their pain drowned out by legal wrangling and political posturing. What does it mean to honor a loved one's final wishes when the state claims ownership of their legacy? Edgar Lungu's family, led by his widow Esther Lungu and daughter Tassila, has been at the heart of this saga, their grief compounded by a public feud. The family's desire for a private burial in South Africa stemmed from Lungu's alleged will, which explicitly stated that Hichilema should not be near his body or involved in his funeral. This wish was rooted in a bitter rivalry. Hichilema was imprisoned for over 100 days on treason charges in 2017 under Lungu's presidency, and Lungu's family faced corruption charges under Hichilema's administration, which they claim are politically motivated. The Pretoria Court's ruling on August 8, 2025, was a blow to the family, with Bertha Lungu's emotional outburst in court. "Kabesha, Lungu is not your father's son. This is really painful," capturing their distress. The family spokesperson, Makibi Zulu, argued that enforcing a state funeral against Lungu's wishes violated his dignity and the family's rights under South African law. Their appeal, supported by prominent human rights lawyer Tembika Ngukuratobi, emphasized cultural norms granting families control over burials and accused the Zambian government of disregarding Lungu's legacy. The family's struggle is not just legal but deeply personal. Esther and Tassila, both facing ongoing corruption probes in Zambia, have accused Hichilema's government of persecution, a claim echoed by PF supporters. Their resistance to repatriation reflects a broader distrust of the state, fueled by Lungu's post-presidency challenges, including the withdrawal of his retirement benefits and allegations of house arrest. The family's appeal to South Africa's Constitutional Court, though dismissed on August 26, 2025, underscores their determination to fight for what they see as a dignified burial, even as it delays closure for all involved. Forensic experts step in, unraveling the mystery. A former president's body lies in a South African morgue, guarded by private security amid whispers of foul play. When forensic experts are called in, what secrets do they uncover? The truth behind Edgar Lungu's death remains shrouded in mystery. The prolonged dispute over Lungu's burial has led to heightened scrutiny of his body, with private security services enlisted to protect his remains at Two Mountains Mortuary in Pretoria following reports of unauthorized attempts to remove it. While the sources do not explicitly detail forensic experts' findings, the need for such measures suggests concerns about the integrity of Lungu's body or suspicions of tampering, possibly fueled by Zambia's cultural beliefs in witchcraft and occult reasons for the government's insistence on repatriation. Sishiwa noted that public speculation about occult motives has gained traction, reflecting Zambia's deep-seated spiritual beliefs. In a country where witchcraft is widely feared, the government's aggressive pursuit of Lungu's body has sparked rumors that it may be sought for ritualistic purposes, a perception exacerbated by the political feud. While no forensic evidence of foul play has been publicly confirmed, the involvement of security and the delay in burial raise questions about whether forensic experts were tasked with verifying the cause of Lungu's undisclosed illness. The lack of transparency around his death, officially attributed to a brief illness, has only deepened the mystery, leaving Zambians and observers wondering what, if anything, remains hidden. The mystery of Edgar Lungu's body, a nation's unanswered questions. 2 months after his death, Edgar Lungu's body remains unburied, a silent symbol of a nation divided. Why does a former president's corpse ignite such passion, and what does it reveal about Zambia's soul? The mystery of Edgar Lungu's body lies not in a conspiracy but in the unresolved tensions it represents. Since his death on June 5, 2025, Lungu's remains have been caught in a legal and emotional tug-of-war, stored in a South African mortuary as courts, governments, and families clash. The family's initial agreement to a state funeral in Zambia collapsed over disagreements about Hichilema's involvement, leading to a planned private burial in Johannesburg on June 25, 2025, which was halted by a last-minute court order. Subsequent negotiations failed, and the body remains in limbo as of August 30, 2025, pending further legal proceedings. This saga has exposed Zambia's political fault lines, with Lungu's PF accusing Hichilema of exploiting the situation to marginalize their influence. The mystery is less about the physical state of Lungu's body and more about the questions it raises. Why is the government so insistent on a state funeral? Is it a genuine desire to honor a former leader, or a power play to assert dominance? The lack of closure has left Zambians fatigued, with public discourse dominated by this issue despite pressing economic challenges like debt restructuring. The body, guarded and unburied, has become a metaphor for Zambia's unresolved political wounds. Political fallout for HH and Zambia, a nation divided. A president's legacy is meant to unite, but Edgar Lungu's death has torn Zambia apart. As Hakainde Hichilema navigates this crisis, will his leadership emerge stronger, or will it crumble under the weight of old grudges? The political fallout from Lungu's burial dispute has been profound, deepening Zambia's polarization. Hichilema's administration, already grappling with economic woes and accusations of targeting PF members with corruption probes, faces criticism for mishandling the situation. Sishiwa argues that Hichilema's failure to publicly distance himself from the funeral could have resolved the dispute earlier, sparing Zambia further division. Instead, his government's legal victory has been seen by some as a vendetta, especially given the history of enmity. Hichilema's 2017 imprisonment, Lungu's barred presidential candidacy, and ongoing legal battles against Lungu's family. PF supporters have rallied behind the family, accusing Hichilema of politicizing grief. Social media posts celebrating the court ruling as a trophy for the UPND have further inflamed tensions, with some Zambians expressing fatigue over the saga's dominance of public discourse. The government's insistence on a state funeral, while legally supported, risks alienating Lungu's base, potentially weakening Hichilema's position ahead of future elections. Conversely, resolving the dispute through compromise could bolster his image as a unifier, but his silence on the family's concerns suggests a missed opportunity. Global reactions, Africa and beyond. From African capitals to global newsrooms, the world watches as Zambia's drama unfolds. What does the fight over Edgar Lungu's burial reveal about power, tradition, and the African state? The Lungu burial saga has drawn attention across Africa and beyond, highlighting universal themes of state authority versus family rights. In Africa, where burial disputes over leaders like Mugabe and Dos Santos have precedent, the case underscores the tension between national protocol and personal wishes. South Africa's involvement, as the host of Lungu's body and the legal battleground, has spotlighted its role as a regional arbiter, with its courts navigating complex international law. The Constitutional Court's dismissal of the family's appeal on August 26, 2025, was noted for upholding state rights but criticized for ignoring cultural sensitivities. Globally, media outlets like the BBC, Reuters, and Al Jazeera have framed the dispute as a continuation of Zambia's political rivalries, drawing parallels with other post-colonial states where leaders' legacies are contested. The case has also sparked academic discussions, with scholars like Sishiwa highlighting its implications for constitutional governance and cultural norms. Posts on X reflect mixed sentiments, with some praising South Africa's judicial clarity and others decrying the politicization of grief. The saga has positioned Zambia as a case study in how personal feuds can shape national narratives, resonating with audiences far beyond its borders. Final analysis. The truth still hidden? As the dust settles on a courtroom battle, one question lingers. Will the truth about Edgar Lungu's death and burial ever be known, or will it remain a casualty of Zambia's divided soul? The truth about Edgar Lungu's burial remains elusive, obscured by legal battles, political rivalries, and cultural fears. The Pretoria Court's ruling and the subsequent appeal have resolved little, with Lungu's body still in South Africa as of August 30, 2025. The government's legal victory asserts state authority, but the family's resistance and public speculation about occult motives suggest deeper mistrust. Was Lungu's death truly from an undisclosed illness, or are there unanswered questions about its circumstances? The lack of forensic transparency fuels rumors, while the political fallout continues to overshadow Zambia's economic priorities. The truth may lie in the interplay of power and grief. Hichilema's administration seeks to control Lungu's legacy, framing him as a national figure, while the family fights to preserve his personal wishes. Both sides claim to seek dignity, but their clash has left Zambians without closure. The saga's resolution, whether through compromise or further litigation, will shape Zambia's political landscape, But for now, the truth remains hidden in the unresolved tension between state and family, past and present, unity and division. Conclusion. The Edgar Lungu burial dispute is more than a legal battle. It is a mirror reflecting Zambia's fractured politics and the enduring power of personal rivalries. From the Pretoria Court's ruling to the global reactions it sparked, this saga has exposed the complexities of honoring a leader in a divided nation. As Zambia awaits resolution, the world watches, reminded that even in death, power struggles endure. Will Lungu's body finally find rest, or will it remain a symbol of a nation's unresolved wounds? Only time, and perhaps another courtroom, will tell.